What did you review in place of the Mini?
Do I have to admit to it? Well, I'm going to be honest, I'll just say it. I reviewed a Corsa.
And why?
Because it's all we had. But nonetheless, let's see what it was like. See, it's 1982. Well, it isn't, but just run with me here. And just picture the scene. There's been an oil crisis, Thatcher's in power, walkouts around the country. What everyone really needs is a car that will do the job, and do the job well. But to be honest, there wasn't really an answer to this question. The range at the time wasn't fantastic. Until Vauxhall came along. Now, I'm sure we've all seen a Vauxhall on the roads, but there has never been a Vauxhall as well known, as long lasting and as strong and fantastic almost as the Corsa. So here I am with the latest Corsa. Now this is the 1 litre version, which is the cheapest on sale to date. And since 1982, it's not seen it's matured a bit. I mean, it's much shinier, it's got much more defined edges. But there is one really big issue that I see. Now, with Super Minis of today, you sort of look at the Fiat 500, you look at the Mini, and you think, well, they're quite small, and they do the job for what is a Super Mini. But for something here, which is classed as a Super Mini, it's a bit of an elephant, really. Being the 1 litre model, it can achieve 56.5 miles to the gallon, which is pretty impressive. It's probably as noble as, I don't know, the Mustang engine, the Lamborghini engine. Now let's just take a look at this great stallion, this great steed. And I'm sure you'll all be very impressed to find what hides beneath. Now, see, what I've done there is I've told a massive lie. This isn't a particularly amazing engine. You know, at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. But you know what, I think we've just got to see how this performs on the road before we can say anything else.
Ruby, 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 Ruby! Do you? Know what you doing to me?
Inside the car, there's a really adult feel to it, despite the fact it doesn't feel as good as its competitors. But in the financial crisis, you've got to save a few pennies, and it is still a brilliant car for what it's worth. A huge plus about this car is its fantastic steering. It's really got something that, it's really responsive, which you don't see in a lot of cars these days. The problem is about this car, and I've heard quite a few people say this, is the rear legroom issue. In that, I mean, I'm fine in the front here. I'm 6'4". I've got tons of space. I could have all amount of bags in here. But it just doesn't have that same thing in the back. Another issue is, well, we've been driving around in this thing for a couple of hours now, and one thing we've noticed is that when we've been going down cobbled streets, it feels very bouncy, and it just feels almost a bit too firm. And you don't find that in things like the Fiat 500 or the Mini. And I think that's one thing that could really draw this car back. Now, one thing the Corsa really comes through on is practicality. It's got a really big boot, and as proof, we fit something special inside. Right there, Tyler?
Right, Steve. It's a bit stuffy, isn't it?
Now, it may be stuffy for a human, but I'm pretty sure it can fit not only all your shopping, but even more on top of that. But the other positive about this is the 5 seats and the space, the massive legroom inside, which makes it fantastically practical. Now, despite the fact that some people will consider this as being a bit of a big red dog, it's still under 10 grand. The problem is, you've just got to look at its competition to just put this in perspective. Now let's take the Fiat 500, I already mentioned it. It's such a popular car these days that you just don't, I can't really see a reason why I'd prefer to buy this over it. But I guess there is one thing. You will not be seeing one of these on the side of the M27 anytime soon. And do you know what? I think the Corsa as a whole, Vauxhall almost as a whole, has been pounding the streets of Britain for 3 decades. And do you know what? After seeing this, I don't think it's going to be stopping anytime soon either. So, what do we all think?
Well, I've reviewed the Corsa previously, and it's a bit bland, it's a bit dull, but turn the clocks back to 1982 and I'm pretty sure you'll find that's the thing that brought us out of recession, and it's one of these cars that will do it again, I think, despite being much more expensive than competitors for a 1 litre engine.
Not being particularly attractive.
No.
Do you know what, I like to think of it, and I'm pretty sure Matt would agree with this actually.
Oh, right.
It's a bit of a Terry's chocolate orange, or any other chocolate orange, but it's a bit of a Terry's chocolate orange. They're nice, you like it, you appreciate it, but you wouldn't ever buy one in your own will. Would you? Could you honestly sit there? Would you eat a Terry's chocolate orange if it was sat there right now?
If you gave it to me, yes.
Definitely.
If I
Yes,
bought it myself, I would.
If you were down in the shop down the road, would you think, "Do you know what, I'll buy that"?
It isn't your everyday thing, is it? You wouldn't just buy a chocolate orange with your milk and your bread and what else you have. It is one of those. It's a very good comparison, though.
Yeah.
Next week, I get hold of a British icon, a classic, and I certainly won't be leaving it in the back of the garage to deteriorate. I believe also we've derived some kind of test to help you buy your next new car. So keep tuned in. It's on the internet, isn't it? Keep watching. Whatever you do on YouTube.
Yeah.
Something technological.
Yeah. Keep viewing, streaming on
Yeah, something like that.
Okay then, if you like what you saw today, I don't necessarily mean us three ugly mugs, but what we've been showing to you, then you can always catch up on all the latest news, reviews and general motoring information on our website. It's www.insidelane.co.uk.
And if you're a twit, not a twat, then you can find us at @inside_lane on Twitter.
And don't forget, we're also on Facebook, so give us a little search, Inside Lane then. As you said last week, we are the one with a picture of a car. In fact, there isn't another Inside Lane.
No.
We are the one and only.
Yeah.
Don't break out into something's copyright.
No.
No. So, we'll see you guys next week. Until then, drive safely.
Goodbye.
Toodaloo.